Hey, what's up, everybody? BDM44 coming at you in another video. All right, so didn't react to the play-in tournament games last night, but I figured I'd do so this morning. First of all, I was 1-1 with my predictions on the Eastern Conference, just like I was 1-1 with my predictions on the West. The Philadelphia 76ers did win the game against Miami. Miami lost Jimmy Butler to a knee injury that is going to keep him out for multiple weeks. So if they do make the Celtics series, it's a good chance he won't even be there. So that's the first thing to understand. Nicholas Batum went for like 7 or 8 threes. You know, when I talk about vets that are done, that need to get out the league, Nicholas Batum is not one of them. He ain't one of them. He still contributes everywhere he goes, and in the biggest game possible, he turned into somebody else. He turned into Ray Allen or something. It was just incredible. He did things on both sides of the floor, and he's aging well in this league. Nicholas Batum, man, he's gonna be a factor in the next series. Joel Embiid and most players on that floor did not shoot well. Joel Embiid had a bad shooting night until the last 3 minutes of the game, where he really turned up. And I think Philadelphia just automatically started hitting shots. It's funny because when I turned on the game, I was listening to who was that? It was Kevin Hart and another couple of people, one of the players from the WNBA. I don't remember who it was he was speaking to, but she said the Philadelphia 76ers need to start hitting shots. They've been cold the whole game. I had missed all of that. But when I turned on the game, she started saying that, and that's when the Philadelphia 76ers then proceeded to start hitting shots in the fourth quarter around the 9-minute mark. They had just been cold the whole game. And so at the Heat, I think it was Tyler Hero attempted 27 shots, only hit a couple of them. I mean, it was a really ugly game through most of it. But down the stretch, both teams started getting hot, and Philadelphia was able to close it out. Joel and Batum did work and punched their ticket into the playoffs to face off against the New York Knicks. And we'll talk about that very soon. In the other game, it was the Hawks and the Chicago Bulls. And a lot of what my prediction was about had to do with players who were injured being on the floor, and certain players I thought were on the floor being injured. That's really what it came down to. If I would have known the true status of both of those teams, I would have picked Chicago. Jalen Johnson was out. That was the first thing. I was certain Jalen was out there, and I did not know he was still hurt or had gotten hurt again. And then Andre Drummond in the ankle injury, he was available. So that was a big deal for what it is I was expecting. So it just threw everything off of my prediction. And injury reports are obviously important. So the Chicago Bulls were fantastic. Kobe White had a career-high 42 points. Just unbelievable. And that game was, for me, now down the last, say, 6 minutes, 7 minutes of the game was unwatchable. The Hawks were just not able to function. In my opinion, they just look like a bad basketball team to me. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray never meshed. I said that 4 years ago when they made the trade. Those two players should have never been on the same team together. It was a terrible vision for the basketball squad. And as we fast forward to where we are right now, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Exactly what I thought it was going to be. It just wasn't any good. Never was. And the Chicago Bulls played great ball, man. Dylan Terry played great. Alex Caruso collided with Andre Drummond. I don't know how Andre Drummond keeps hurting his own players and doing all types of weird stuff over the last couple of weeks, but he ended up colliding with Caruso, and that did hurt Caruso. I think that will affect what goes on against Miami if Caruso can't go. Kind of balance things out since Jimmy won't go, but nevertheless, Chicago looked great, man. Ayo Dosunmu, very underrated player in this league, in my opinion, did a lot of great things. Dylan Terry played some good defense. It was just one of those situations where they took care of a Hawks team that was really missing one of their best players. And when Kobe White's playing like that, you're not beating them. You're not beating them. And of course, got to mention that DeMar DeRozan had the 3-ball falling, so that made it even more difficult for Atlanta. So yeah, man, Atlanta was just completely outclassed out there. They were really missing Jalen Johnson, and the Bulls were doing great out there. They looked fantastic. They really played a good game, one of the best games I've seen them play in a while. Um, so they'll move on and play the Miami Heat in the final play-in tournament game. And, it's going to be difficult to see the Heat winning that game. Jimmy's not out there. Uh, Terry Rozier also missed the game. I had no idea. Terry was hurt. So this is a lot of stuff I just wasn't aware of. And I hope that I made everybody understand that I wasn't paying that much attention to the Eastern Conference. I was just winging it. Um, and that's really where I'm at right now as it pertains to the Eastern Conference even still. But I'll try to be a little more prepared for what the injury possibilities will be in these playoffs. But, at the end of the day, I honestly am looking at what I saw for both teams, the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. And I just think the Chicago Bulls look better than the Heat did. I mean, better than the Heat, and the Heat are going to have to face them, although the game will be in Miami. Unless they can get Terry Rozier on that basketball floor, find a way to get Duncan Robinson on that basketball floor, I don't see how they're going to beat the Chicago Bulls I saw yesterday. I don't know how they're going to do that. I really don't. They don't look like they have it without the players that we're referring to. And Chicago looked too good. They were on the string. They played defense. They played offense. They hit threes. They got in the paint. I mean, they really played a complete basketball game, look as good as they've looked in years. So, I was listening to, someone speak about the Bulls, and they were essentially saying that the Bulls tend to lose games when the other team is missing their best player. So that is noteworthy considering that Jimmy's going to be out. But I just think the Bulls are coming in with a whole lot of confidence. Now, Miami is a building to try to win a game in. It really is. And for a team like the Chicago Bulls, who tend to disappear, I kind of feel like them like I felt about the Golden State Warriors. They wouldn't necessarily shock me that they'd lose this game against Miami, just because that's been their identity to a T. I mean, they up and down, up and down, up and down, never really actually all that great. But right now, yesterday, they look like they could have beat a lot of teams in this league if they played like that. So that's the energy they need to take into the Miami Heat arena. And if they do, my prediction will hold firm. They'll win the game and go on to play the Celtics in the first round. And we'll talk about that if it transpires. But that's really what it is, man. Now I'm looking forward to the play-in tournament games tomorrow. Of course, there are no games today. Everybody has a rest today, but tomorrow we'll see the final play-in tournament games between the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans, and of course the Bulls and the Heat. And that Pelican game is really interesting to me there because Zion is expected to miss that. And the way the Kings looked, you would have to think the Kings are going to bring it full force to the Pelicans. Problem is they've been really, really, really getting blown out by the Pelicans all season long. They played them 5 times, got blown out in most of those games. So when a team has your number, even without Zion, you have to wonder if they're going to step into their own and shoot the ball very well, which is what the Pelicans had been doing before running into the Lakers. They had been shooting the lights out and winning every game they played in. So the Lakers are an especially bad matchup for the Pelicans. Obviously, the Sacramento Kings are an especially good matchup for the Pelicans. So I think Sacramento's probably playing a little better given what I saw, but I don't know that I can deviate from what the data has shown me, man. Not in this situation. With everything on the line, if a team has beat you 5 times in a row, I have to assume they're going to get you that 6th game. But just the same, when you don't have Zion out there, that messes with the lineup rotations. And B.I. is not 100% healthy. I just think the Pelicans are limping into this basketball game, as to which the Sacramento Kings have been used to playing without the players that have been hurt as of late. Keegan Murray's coming off an 8-3 game. I think he hit like 8 threes or 7 threes. De'Aaron Fox is playing well. Sabonis playing great. Of course, that shooting guard we were mentioning, who's making a name for himself, he's stepping into his own in their stead of those who were missing. I mean, it's just you can't expect the Sacramento Kings to roll over in this one. You can't, even though the game's on the road and they've lost a lot to the Pelicans. It's going to be a tough game for both teams, and I I do think the Pelicans will win just because that's what the data shows. But again, without Zion, I don't know if BI ain't 100%. You know, you might have to throw the data away. So that's really what it comes down to. I ain't confident in my pick for the Pelicans to win that game. In fact, I more so feel like the Kings are the better, more complete team in this situation. But when a team loses 5 games to another team, it tells me that the coaches, there's a difference in what's going on down there from a coaching standpoint. Willie Green is just eating Mike Brown's lunch. And Mike Brown's going to have to figure something out that he hasn't figured out, Zion or no Zion, in order to beat this hot shooting team. And maybe that's what's needed. Maybe Zion being out is what is needed for the Kings to get over the hump finally against the Pelicans. But it's hard to see. It's hard to see the Kings finally winning this game, even with the circumstances being as they are. 5 straight losses. Something's been figured out. That's what it really comes down to. So we'll see. We'll see, man. Sabonis not having to deal with Zion, it probably goes a long way in helping the Kings, man. And we'll probably have a close game there, in my opinion. Because the one thing about the New Orleans Pelicans, they've been without BI the entire time. For the last couple of weeks, he's been out. They're used to Zion being out. He just started getting healthy halfway through the season. So they're used to missing people. So yeah, that's what it is, man. Not overly confident in that pick, but I'm gonna go with the Pelicans to win that game and move on and play the Oklahoma City Thunder. As to which they better get Zion back, or they will be lucky to win a game in that series if that happens. I actually think the Sacramento Kings will be a much better matchup for the Oklahoma City Thunder at this point. I really do. So we'll see. We'll see. My gut's telling me my pick is wrong. That's the reality of it. My gut's telling me to pick the Kings, but I'm gonna go with the Pelicans in the data, and hopefully Zion doesn't miss too much time. I don't remember exactly what the prognosis is, but hopefully he'll be back for the Oklahoma City Thunder series if they do move on. The Thunder having an easy series is not good for the Western Conference. An easy first series, just like the Celtics having an easy first series is not good for the Eastern Conference. So goes the glory. Just the same for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You don't want a number 1 overall seed getting a shoe-in, sweep, early, rest type series. And I think that's what both Western Conference teams could potentially be looking at. Both teams on each conference, rather, could potentially be looking at. I think that the Bulls and the Heat aren't going to probably be able to win a game against the Celtics. And if the Pelicans don't have Zion, I think it's going to be a very easy series for Oklahoma City. But a lot of homework has to be done for me to be confident in that. And it is what it is, man. But I'm sticking with the data. And the data tells me that the Pelicans are going to win this Sacramento game. And without Jimmy Butler, I just don't see the Miami Heat beating the Chicago Bulls, not even at home. I really don't. So we'll see what happens, man. I've been split on all of my predictions. And 50-50, man. I guess that's okay. That's not bad odds there. So, of course, we got new series to talk about, and I'll have videos out for those series very soon. Talk about the Lakers and the Nuggets, although I will give no prediction. I'll talk about it as much as I normally do about my team. And, of course, we'll be talking about the Knicks and the Sixers now. That's going to be a real thing. Man, I'm actually looking very much forward to talking about that series. I think that's extremely interesting. So, yeah, that's what I got. My name is BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.